My background isn't optical. As an optician, I started in the late 70s. It was kind of hard for a woman to pioneer through that type of field back then. My daughter has Down syndrome, and it opened my eyes to a whole new world. Erin was almost 2 when I could see her eyes turning. It was very challenging getting Erin a frame that would fit her facial features properly. We have a high bridge that starts around our upper lids. Theirs starts about their lower lid. Their eyes are a little more inset. Their ears are smaller, and they can be set back a little bit higher or lower. So a typical frame doesn't balance up on them right. Being a mother is a big driving force in this situation. I just knew I had to help her somehow. My daughter, Erin, and her need for glasses inspired the frame line Erin's World. Erin's reaction, you could tell she could see clear. She had better depth perception. Her gross motor skills and fine motor skills were improving just because of the positioning of the glasses on her face. It was very amazing to see.
We put the frames on Danny and it was like perfect fit.
My glasses are fixed and Maria fixed it.
Having my whole family involved is what it's really all about.
She is doing more for us than I think we could ever do for her.
I think an individual with Down syndrome is more like any other child than different, and that they should look that way.
That was fantastic. Hi, everyone. I'm Alex Witt. I'm host of MSNBC's Weekends with Alex Witt, and what an honor to be here with this crew. I got to tell you, when you think about being a mom, I'm the mom of 2 kids. We spend so much of our time problem solving, and to look at Maria Dellapina and what she did in terms of problem solving. She saw a need, and she said, I've got to go for this. Although when you did this, Maria, you did it when you had just gotten fired from a job.
True.
Oh, okay. So how did this all start, other than the need that you saw with your adorable daughter, Erin, who I know is going to turn 17 in June, which is pretty cool. So what were the biggest challenges for you?
Well, when I noticed that a typical frame wouldn't fit Erin properly, I designed on a piece of paper a frame that I thought would work. My hardest problems was trying to get somebody to listen to my ideas. And it took me like about 3 years of just trying to find a way to get these frames made. And then that's when the turning point was where Erin took sick. I lost my job. I went to a couple interviews and I was pulled out of them because she was sick at school and I had to go pick her up. So a friend said, we've got to get this frame thing going somehow because she's not going to let you work outside the house anymore.
Yeah, and we should say it was really tough too on your home life, your family, a marriage fell apart, the pressures of that. I mean, you're a single mom of 4, and we should add your handsome son Anthony's right here.
Yes.
He's the second oldest of yours. What was the biggest thing, though, to convince manufacturers, like, there's a need? I mean, there are at least 500,000 people living with Down syndrome in this country.
And 87% of them usually need glasses by the time they're in preschool.
Wow. So, but that wasn't enough.
No.
I mean, so what was the biggest challenge for you? I mean, getting this up and off the ground. And we should say, by the way, you have made, last year, wasn't it about $250,000? Isn't that, which is fantastic. I mean, talk about a business that is thriving, right? I mean, you fill a need, you see it, you capitalize on it, and you do it. But the manufacturers, I mean, did they all of a sudden come around? Was there a light bulb that went off?
There was a light bulb for one of them. I would send off my drawings, and they would fax them back to me, redesigned like a typical frame. And I kept going, no, that's not it. And there's this one manufacturer, I sent back a letter, sent back my designs, and said, please look at this again, that's not what I sent to you. Mm-hmm. So the next day, I get a phone call from him, and he was in South Korea. And he said, he's from the States, though. He said, I understand what you're doing. I will do whatever I can to help you.
I'll tell you, that was a magic moment for you for sure. Anthony, I'd like to talk with you. I know that you're so close to Erin. I know she is nonverbal, but you guys can speak for her because you guys are so close. I saw the interaction between you two in the green room there. How has she inspired you?
She put me on my path to become a special education teacher. When my mom was going through her struggle to turn what seemed to everybody else as a lump of coal, my mom saw it as a diamond. And she just knew that if we just kept struggling and put the pressure on it, that's what it'll turn into. And we already had a diamond in our family when she was born, and she inspired me to become a teacher because I knew that I needed to help and put part of that struggle on my back too. And so if I went to college and became a teacher, I could help my mom take that burden off and put it to what she's created with this remarkable, I guess, an example of a beautiful struggle.
Yeah, an absolutely beautiful struggle that has certainly paid off and benefited so many. I want to introduce now Dr. Cynthia Peacock, everybody. She is with the Baylor College of Medicine, specifically with Baylor's Transition Medicine Clinic, and this is in Houston, of course. And something people don't think about is the amount of services that are provided up until the age of 21 for people with special needs or that have extreme medical conditions, people living with disabilities. 21, you can get pretty well covered. But at that moment, it's as if the resources all dry up. Talk about what you've had to develop in this one-of-a-kind, nearly, I mean, you're the only one in Texas and one of very few in this country, this clinic and what you're able to do.
Well, our clinic actually is geared to take only people with developmental disabilities. So meaning the childhood conditions such as cerebral palsy, autism, Down syndrome, spina bifida, genetic disorders. And we specifically offer health care that's centered around their needs, which is really not offered to them anywhere else, and very few places outside of the state of Texas. This is care that is trying its avant-garde. We really don't know what they require because they're aging into an adult healthcare system, which really hasn't happened until the last 20 years. We do know that people with certain diseases, such as autism, which we're diagnosing more and more, they use the ER twice as much because they can't access health care. We know that mortality and morbidity of certain diseases that come from childhood rapidly increase when they hit the adult healthcare system, and some of it is because there's not the care that's offered for them. And so what we're trying to do is really develop a system of care that really addresses their unique needs.
Yeah, and Dr. Peacock, I know this started in 2005, and you have said that because of the economic conditions right now, that had this not started then, it may not exist today. And because you are a teaching hospital,
yes,
that helps. But where do you get your funding, and how do you get everything that you need?
Well, a lot of it's collaboration with the state of Texas, also with some of the managed Medicaid organizations. I don't think you can do this within the confines of the academic center, although it works well in the academic center because we're training healthcare providers to care for this population. But yeah, you have to step out of your silos, really sit down with legislators, go to the Capitol, go to the Hill, talk about the needs of this population. To give you a perspective, probably every one of you in this room knows somebody with a developmental disability or have seen that person in other people's families or in different situations. They may have bagged your groceries. You may have seen them with their families out at events if you don't know somebody personally. There is close to 7-8 million individuals in the United States currently as adults that have a developmental disability. So we really have to address this elephant in the room.
I want to bring up a graphic and have you explain it. It's called It Takes a Village, and I know it was prepared for you by the mother of a special needs child.
Sure was.
Explain what we're seeing here.
So basically what she did was, this is a mother with a son that has special needs. She drew a map of everything that she uses in the pediatric system to help her with her son and the issues that he needs addressed. This map, if you can think about it, still does not address a lot of the needs that these individuals have. Take Erin's mother, for example. She couldn't get glasses to fit her daughter, so she had to be the one to go out there and do that. This type of setting really produces what I call a true warrior mother, that it has to really be the person that care coordinates all of this activity. And then to think that when Erin's turning 21, it all goes away. There will be no school, there will be no healthcare system that knows her and knows what she needs. So we really, I think this map is very poignant in the fact that the village needs to stay, and we all need to help
Yeah.
out.
And there will be those specs for us. If ever you want to look this up, it's specs, S-P-E-C-S, with the number 4, us, and that is something that is fortunately taking off for you so that you'll be able to provide for Erin, and especially with Anthony's help. I mean, a special ed teacher, and by the way, he has a rock star group of wrestlers who are all kids who have had tough times, and they've done really well, and you've like a 50-4 record or something?
It's about teaching them how to be tough.
Yeah.
And the thing I need to say for my mom is I think as a man, the best lesson I've learned about being tough is from 2 women. And it's absolutely...
Well, I think that's a perfect way to wrap, since we're a community of women and one really fabulous guy. Dr. Peacock, thank you so much. Anthony, Erin, Maria, well done. Bravo, Mom.
Thank you.